We're a small group, so there are several options, but what I find useful in a small group is to just go around and each of you say what you'd like to spend the time on this morning. You probably have an idea of what my shtick is, right? Or not? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you do. So what would be most useful? And if I could borrow a pencil, what would be most useful? What would you hope to get out of this interaction? Let's just go around and in about 30 seconds or so.
Okay. Driving right down to the last mile, how do we access or provide services to customers that's in the village, in the last mile?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I want to know more about how to scale, scaling up.
Yeah, that's important.
Okay.
I'm staff and that is important, but I'm with Winston.
So you have nothing to learn?
I have twins to learn.
Oh, is there anything else? Oh, you're with him about scale. Okay.
My question is not about scaling.
Scale.
My question is not about scaling.
Not about scaling.
Yeah.
What's your question?
Shops. How to approach more shops.
Okay.
That's scaling.
How to approach small shops in this country or in China or
Either, yeah.
to sell your stuff?
Yeah, sell my stuff.
Okay.
Well, I think the rest
I'd like to talk about scaling, I think specifically into different countries, and I think it'd be great to have a conversation about knowing when it's right to scale. And sort of laying the foundation from the beginning and sort of how to be planning for scale, but then knowing when it's actually time to do it.
Okay.
I think that would be very useful as well, but I would also like to learn more about how to get products that are popular in a kind of urban setting really out into much lower income clients in rural areas.
Yes.
This is ideal in financial inclusion.
That's really important.
Yeah, I didn't quite get it. You're talking about urban settings, but what in urban settings?
Sorry, financial inclusion, so microfinance, but ways in which to penetrate rural areas and while keeping your costs low.
So microfinance, how to penetrate rural areas as well as urban?
No. We currently operate primarily in urban at the moment.
Oh, and you want to figure out how to do microfinance in rural?
Yeah.
Right?
I'd like to hear about kind of the after effects of scale. So you bring people from $2 a day to $4 a day. How do you keep them there or take them further? You know, how do you make sure that it's not a short-term effect?
Okay.
First, sorry for all of us who are late, we got lost. We
got lost in the building.
We were lost too. So I would have just gone around, maybe it's like, no,
Basically,
just asking everybody in 30 seconds what they want to get out of it.
just scaling up and how to make it a long-lasting solution. That would be how to scale up and make it long-lasting. Si tienes alguna pregunta de cómo hacer el escalado.
Okay.
My question is, my product is natural plant for tourism. My question is, who is the best model for operate the same in the different countries? But right now, I operate in Brazil, Kenya, and Spain. But my question is it possible to integrate here and scale for create a global company?
How to create a global company, and you're using plants to
purify water and waste water.
Yeah, okay, got it.
I would like to find out your perspective on if we're financial, including new customers into the consumption capitalist system, how can we make sure that they will start consuming the right path and not the wrong path? Like, if we're going to open the doors to them.
Yes.
It's a very important, like, philosophical, personal question of mine.
Okay.
Yeah, my preoccupation is to, first of all,
We are using mobile phone to connect farmers and buyers. So we are serving quite now 500 farmers. I want to know how can we make more impact, increase the number of the farmers.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm producing cocoa, helping cocoa farmers in Liberia produce more cocoa, get a living out of that, and put that help former child soldiers get a job. So how do I replicate that in the Ivory Coast? Because Ivory Coast too went through war, and they are among the world best cocoa producers in Africa. How do I
Are you in Ivory Coast now? Or?
No, I'm in Liberia right now.
In where?
Liberia.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So we make cook stoves that in the right market saves $250 per year. The stove costs $50. The typical customer would earn maybe $5 or a little bit more per day. So how to get the right sales financing strategy?
So let me just clarify something. In this seminar, we're not going to be able to cover specific businesses, but maybe some themes of what all of you do. So it probably there isn't time to focus. Maybe we can focus on some businesses as examples.
Yeah, sure. I was saying there's kind of yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
that gives an idea.
Yeah.
But so what's the basic theme issue for you?
How to sell something to a poor person, even that who has no money, even if that thing makes him much more money than what he's paying.
Most people can't afford $50, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
My objective is the same as Ashley, to how to scale across cultures. And we can get a successful project running in India, which we want to take to other places. And even in India, there are cultural differences.
And remind me of the project name again?
We pick up waste from the streets and we train trash pickers who convert it into products that are sold across the world.
Okay. And you want to scale it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to know if, as we build scale, how do we ensure that the organization improves its focus on the mission? It shouldn't be a mad race with its numbers or targets or volumes. The organization should not lose its soul in the process of scaling up. So how do we ensure that?
Okay. So it sounds to me like the most common theme in what all you're saying is different facets of scale. Is that?
Yeah.
Is that fair? And so let me throw out some options. Let me start with a 2-minute introduction. Quite often what people have paid attention to is my Don't Bother trilogy, and last year, for instance. So let me start with that and talk about the son of the Don't Bother trilogy. So the Don't Bother trilogy says that if you haven't talked to 25 or 50 customers before you start in some depth, if the customer who buys your product or service doesn't get 3 times their money back in the first year, and if you can't sell 1 million of them, don't bother. So that's a sort of become a controversial but more widely accepted set of values. If you can't talk to 25 customers before you start, so it has a real listening to customers base. If the customer doesn't, especially if you're dealing with $2 a day customers, livelihoods are all important. So if the customer doesn't earn a really good return on investment, don't bother. And if you can't sell 1 million of them, don't bother. That doesn't imply that if you're working in a village and you're helping 100 families, it's not important. But it implies that one of the valuable inputs is your own time. And if you're working with a village, if you talk to people in the village as customers, you'll come up with at least 10 or 15 worthwhile things to do. My bias is to put a higher priority on the thing that might be helpful in that village, but is also applicable to at least 1,000 others. Because with the same amount of effort, you have a bigger impact. Those three principles sort of summarize some of the underlying values in the first 25 years with IDE. I left IDE maybe 4 years ago now and handed it over to somebody else who's running it. I've stayed on the board. And what I'm doing now is is harnessing some of the things that I think we learned over the first 25 years. Things like the most important lever for for improving livelihoods and achieving scale is stimulating marketplace forces. Some of the things we learned about scale. So, long story short, I'm creating a model for multinational businesses. I'm incubating and in the early phases of 4 businesses. Each business is designed to reach not 1 million, but 100 million $2 a day customers, generate $10 billion in annual sales, and be highly profitable, and create a model that makes it mandatory for multinationals that want to survive to start entering these markets in order to earn profits, because they're essentially new markets. So let me stop there and answer any initial questions, and then we have several directions that we can go in from there. But that's sort of a quick background. Any reactions or thoughts about that? Yes.
Yeah, we had Nestle contact us, because they really would like to get their products into rural or South Africa and Mozambique. And they believe that we could do the last mile. And this is exactly what you say, working with multinationals so that they can get their product further into the market.
How would you get them involved, and would it be a good thing or not?
I think it would be a good thing for us, especially if we could get them to discount the products. That's the only way that our customer would be able to afford some of their products.
What level of scale would be of interest to them?
They were just quite happy to work with us, provided that we focus on specific areas within South Africa. Now, that's not necessarily our vision.
So it's
South
tricky.
Africa.
I'm trying to create global companies that in themselves will become multinationals, and I'm exploring how to partner with multinationals doing it, and I can talk more about that. But I would like to suggest a 3-minute exercise for each of you. And it involves 3 basic questions. I think it's fair to say that each of you is involved with a product or a service. Right?
Yeah.
What's the total global market for the product or service that you are working on? And just look at it in terms of number of, what's the total global market for the product or service that you are working on? Question number 2, if you were starting today thinking about designing a global strategy to reach that market, what percentage of the customers would be reasonable to reach? And number 3, what are the first 3 things you would need to do to design a strategy for, not in one day or in 1 year, but say a 10-year strategy to make an impact on that global market. What are the 3 most important steps you'd have to take to start building a practical way of reaching whatever percentage of that global market you think is possible to reach? And this is something that could take a long time to discuss, but I'll give you 3 minutes. And then I'll ask you for examples of what your thinking is at the end of 3 minutes. Okay?
Can you help me question 1?
What's the total global market for the product or service that you're working on? That is, how many customers are there in the world?